Hey guys, welcome or welcome back to another video. Today's video I'm going to be talking about my 2024 New Year's resolutions. And yes, this video is going up very late. I wrote these New Year's resolutions in like November or December, and it is now February, but I've had other videos that I've been trying to get up, and I was like, I'm not even going to film that until I'm actually going to be able to post it, and I'm now going to post it. Today's Sunday, and I'm going to post it this Friday, so hopefully. It should be easy to edit. So like I said, I did write this a long time ago, so I don't really remember what I wrote down. So this is going to be a surprise for both of us. And some of these things may have changed actually a little bit because some situations in our life have changed a bit. I haven't decided if I'm going to get into that in this video yet, but let's just get started. So the first one is just super simple. I just want to smile more and like try to be more kind to people in general. Not that I'm like a rude person, but just I feel like that can go a long way. Not just to other people, but I also want to be more kind to myself. I feel like I don't give myself a lot of time for like self-care. So some of the goals that I wrote down was feed myself just as good as Amara. Which is, I kind of have been doing that. Like, I'll feed her the same thing as myself, but then, like, I don't eat the veggies, so I should probably do that. I need to moisturize my hands more. It's another thing that I actually started doing, but still need to do more of. My hands got really bad when I was writing this, and they're still pretty bad, but not near as bad as they were at that point. I need to actually wash and moisturize my face, just like self-care for my body in general. I'm one of those moms that's like, oh, I don't have time to shower, and then I'm like, oh, I have a minute, let me go take a quick shower, and I don't like take the time to exfoliate and all this stuff that I used to do. So I want to try to give myself more time to do stuff like that, and to make time for hobbies, which I've kind of already started with getting back into YouTube more. But a lot of times with YouTube I view it as like a job, like a way that I could potentially make money, or like I need to do it, which I obviously don't make money, but so maybe like a hobby that's not in any way monetized, just for fun, like totally for fun. I need to find something. Like I used to crochet, I could get back into crocheting, but even that I'm like, oh, I could crochet and I could sell stuff. So I need to find something that I can just do with no purpose, just for myself, for fun. I want to spend more time outside. I've especially been inside a lot recently because of the weather. It's been either cold or raining, but the last couple days have been nice, and I haven't taken advantage of it. I have not gone outside. So I want to try to do a lot more like walks and stuff, which should get easier once I'm not working here, which will be pretty soon, because normally I work at the Mother's Day out, and then I come home and work my other job, and then it's like dinner time, and then it's already dark outside. So as the sun starts setting later and as I work less, I should be able to find more time to be outside, and I need to prioritize it. So my goals for YouTube, which it's February and I've already been on track with this, is to post one video a month. Last year, I think actually 2 years ago, I don't know, in the past when I've tried to set goals for how often to post on YouTube, I set my expectations too high, and once I couldn't keep up with it, I just gave up and didn't post for like 6 months. And I've done this several times. Like I wouldn't wanted to post once a week, or I used to post twice a week when I very first started this in 2016, and that was like exhausting. So now my goal is to post just one video a month. If I can post more, awesome. But I want to try to spread them out to where they're one a month, and if I'm like, oh, I for sure will have another one for next month, I can go ahead and post a second one this month, like things like that. Which the months of January and February I'm actually posting a lot of videos, and that's because I was catching up on Vlogmas and the Christmas gifts and now the New Year's resolutions and my annual Valentine videos. But I'm about to have a baby, which is on here, so I'm gonna get back to being really busy, and so I know that like he's due in March, so after March, I think that one video a month is realistic, and I'm not going to beat myself up if I can't do it. To kind of go along with that, I want to try and manage my time better, which I've also already been working on this year. Realizing that I can't just get up and go like I did before I had a child. It's funny because she's 2. Like I should have realized this, and I have realized it recently, but and like truly understanding how long it's going to take me to do things and giving myself the time to do that, especially when we're adding another one to the family and it's going to be like starting all over. So just to be patient with myself and to try to be better at like managing my time. 3 really big things that I've got here next. I want to graduate this year. I've recently found out that, well, at first it was that I was only missing 1 class, and then they changed their computer systems where I went to school at Texas Wesleyan, and it didn't show that I was missing anything, and so I just needed to apply, and I could graduate. And without my teacher certification, but I would still have my degree, and I worked hard for that degree, and I want it. And the deadline to apply for graduation in the fall is April, and I've already tried to apply. I've been going back and forth with the registration office, and they're giving me a hard time, so my goal is to get that figured out so that I can have my degree and not have wasted all of those years that I was in college. And then my next big thing for this year is to build a house. Not physically, but like have a house built. And this one is going to take longer than I originally anticipated when I wrote this down. I might come back and talk about this at the end and then put it in right here if I decide to. It just depends on how long I talk. So if you're curious about that and I decided not to put that in, comment below and I can maybe just talk about it in another video about our house plans and our current situation. I don't even know if Isaiah wants me to talk about that, so whatever. But yeah, my goal for just this year in general is to build a house, to have a house for us. And then the third really big thing is to give birth, which is inevitable. I can't fail this one. I have to give birth in some way or form, whether that's naturally or C-section or whatever. This baby is coming out in about a month, so I will definitely succeed in that. So the next thing is I want to be a better housekeeper. I've already started this one. I've been trying really hard to keep our house more clean. We just started prepping for the baby, and we've been moving things around in the house and rearranging furniture and stuff. And I put cook on here, but that's because I was thinking that we were going to be moving into our house soon, which I do cook a little bit, but like most of the time we just kind of go to the in-laws. But I do want to cook a little bit more, especially when we have a house, and keep things tidy in general, and maybe even make my bed every day. Probably not that one. To me, I'm like, why would I make my bed if I'm just going to get back in it later? And Isaiah makes the bed every night before bed, well, because we use it to, like, change him our pajamas. So he'll, like, fix the bed, we'll change our pajamas, and then we'll get in. But maybe I can make the bed in the morning. We'll see if I can succeed with that. The next category is make more eco-conscious swaps. Like, just try to do things that are more environmentally friendly. I already do a decent amount of things, like more than the average person. And this is another thing that I would totally be willing to make a full video talking about all of the things that I do. But just off the top of my head, some things I do is cloth diapers. That's a really big one. And then when we do use disposables, they're like compostable, which I don't think that really works if you put them in a trash bag, in a plastic bag, and it goes to the landfill. But when we get a house and we have our land, then I'm going to start a compost so I could actually compost those. Anyway, cloth diapers is the biggest thing that I do. And they're just little things like solid shampoo instead of a bottle of shampoo in a plastic bottle, and like toothpaste tabs instead of a bottle of toothpaste. Just stuff like that. But there's several things that I do, and if you're curious about it, I can make a whole video. But some of the new swaps that I want to make are, like I said, I want to compost, but I need a place to compost, so I won't be starting that until we have our house. And I want to shop small businesses, which I already do a little bit, but I want to try to do more. It's hard because it's usually a little more expensive, and especially my situation currently, I cannot financially afford that as much, but where I can, I want to. And I want to shop groceries at farmers markets, and you can bring your own like produce bags and jars and put the fruit and veggies in those and not have any plastic, and it also cuts down on the travel emissions or whatever. I don't know about this stuff, but I did try to go to a farmer's market here local when I first had Amara, and there wasn't really any food, but I want to try, like maybe once a month or something, going to like the Dallas Farmers Market and getting stuff there, something like that. I'll have to look into it. Some other things I put on the list, again, I wrote this when I was thinking we were going to have a house pretty soon, was get chickens and start a garden. And I still may be able to do that, at least the chickens. I don't know, there's like probably a certain time of the year that it's best, and my guess would be spring, for sure for a garden, probably for chickens too. So I don't think that we'll be able to reach that goal this year, but I still wanted to put that out there, just like if it's possible, if we have the house and we're able to do it, then I would love to have chickens in a garden. This next category has to do with my husband, who's right here. I want to try to be a better spouse this year. It's something that just every year I feel like there's always room for improvement, and I don't know, I feel like we're always working on it, being better for each other, but I just want to like make a conscious effort to like communicate better and do small, thoughtful acts and try to be more selflessness, that's what I wrote down here. I want to be less selfish. So he's probably over here like, in his head, yeah, you better be less selfish. Right, baby? I think he might be asleep. Alright, there's 2 more categories. The next one is grow my faith. I'm sorry if you're not a Christian or into this kind of thing, you can skip forward a little bit, or you can listen just for the fun of it. But I am a Christian, I believe in God, and I want to do some things to grow my faith more, like attend church more. We go maybe once every other month or something right now. I want to actually study the Bible more. I want to read Bible stories to Amara daily, which I do have a few like kids Bible books, and I read from those to her when she picks those books for me to read to her, but I want to intentionally do it, read her stories daily. And I want to actually pray daily instead of just when I need something. And I've really actually recently been trying to praise him when I can tell that like God's doing something for me. Just like say thank you, and I just want to do more of that, keep that momentum going. And the final item on my list, and this kind of goes along with this, I'll be able to study the Bible a little more with this one because it'll help me. I'm going to teach music for the first time this year. I'm really excited. It's official. I will be the music teacher at the Mother's Day Out that I work at. Currently I teach 3-year-olds, and I'm going to take maternity leave starting in March all the way through the summer, and then in the fall I'm going to return and teach music. And the reason I say that this will help me study the Bible is because it's at a Mother's Day Out, which is, if you don't know, those are usually based out of a church. And so, I mean, there is musical curriculum that's like actually just music specific, but then there's also once a week there's chapel, and they have like a story each week for chapel, and I want to try to find songs that go along with that story, which is going to force me to actually look into and read and study these stories, stories that they're going to do each week, to truly understand what they mean and find songs that match that. For example, we had a story a few weeks ago that was the one of Jesus walking on water, and I don't remember who the disciple was, but he had someone come out to him on the water, and they had to trust him that they could walk on the water. And when they started to lose their faith and they started to get scared, they started sinking. And I don't remember the exact quote, but God said something like, trust me, and then they started to be able to float again. And so like everyone's like, oh yeah, God's amazing, he can walk on water, that's so cool. But just like actually reading into it, the moral of the story is to trust him. And so I could find a song about trust, whatever, like anyway, that's just kind of an example. But I'm really excited to teach music this year, just really dive into like what I went to school for. Like, I didn't just go to school for teaching, I went for music specifically, and I'm excited to get back into it. I think that has just all lined up to where I need to do this, because my mom taught Mother's Day Out when I was a kid, and she suggested I get into it since I had Amara, and Amara could go to Mother's Day Out with me. It was only 2 days a week. It was like an easy thing to do. And I put my foot in the door, and at the time that I started working there, which was about to be a year ago when I started subbing, my first day subbing was Valentine's Day. And they had a music teacher at the time. And then some unfortunate circumstances happened to where the directors left and they got new directors, and the music teacher that we had wasn't happy with what was happening, so she left. And I was already teaching 3-year-olds, so they hired somebody else to do the music position, and it just didn't really work out. So now they've got the music position open. I was considering not coming back in the fall because with Amara I was able to breastfeed exclusively. I didn't have to pump, and she breastfed for a year and a half, but near the end of that she was only nursing for like naps and bedtime. I really loved that I was able to do that. I tried pumping and I wasn't good at it, and so I wanted to do that with this baby. So I was like, I don't know if I'm going to go back to teaching. He's only going to be 6 months old, and I'm sure that I'll still be breastfeeding too often, and I would have to have a bottle for him. And they were like, well, why don't you come be the music teacher? It's only once a week for 4 hours, and so you would only need 1 bottle, depending on how often he eats at the time. And I was like, yeah, and I could. And then I met my co-teacher, and she told me about how she used this device called a haka on the opposite breast that she was breastfeeding, and it caught all the letdown, and that would be enough. If I can do that and make it work, that would be enough to have a bottle a week for him. I'll have about 6 months of his life to figure out how to use that thing, and I get to have a little extra income doing something that's going to look really great on my resume, because I'm eventually going to teach elementary music. Amara will get to go to the school with the teacher's discount. The baby boy will get to go once a week with me when I go teach music, so he'll get to be around stuff like that and away from me for a little bit each week, but I still get to be home with him most of the time. So I'm really, really looking forward to it. And when they first offered it to me, they were like, oh, you should be the music teacher, just kind of like lightly. And I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I finally brought it up, and I was like, was that a real offer? Because I think that God's leading me to do it. And I'm really glad that it was, and I accepted it, and I will be doing that in the fall. And I'm really excited. Anyway, those are all of my 2024 New Year's resolutions. Nothing too crazy like some fad diet or, not that there's anything wrong with those, but just personally not my thing, like working out every day and going outside and walking and stuff. Sure, that'll get me more active, but I'm not really too worried about like working out. They're very catered to me. There's probably other things that I just didn't write down that I'm going to try to do this year. But I'm curious, comment down below what some of your biggest New Year's resolutions are. Are any of yours the same as mine? Were you surprised by any of my New Year's resolutions? Was there any that like spoke to you? Is there any suggestions for what I should do? I don't know. Just, we can have like a fun conversation down in the comments. I think that's everything that I have to say today, so let's see, how long is this video? Almost 20 minutes. I will save the financial and house situation conversation for later if Isaiah approves me putting that online. I won't get into that right now, but basically the gist of it is it's going to be a while till we have our house because of certain circumstances. So we are making this little house work for a little bit longer. I'm hopefully going to be posting more YouTube videos because of this as well. Especially since I won't have a job because I'll be postpartum, and I don't want to go work at the Mother's Day Out yet, so I'll have about 6 months where I could just do this job, and, you know, we'll see if it goes anywhere. Maybe, maybe not. But you will be hopefully seeing a lot more of me this year. So, with that being said, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you know every time I upload a video. Hopefully it will be consistent. I haven't decided yet if my posting day will be Friday or Sunday. It's always going to be at 2 p.m. because that's for some reason the time that I've chosen. And there's not going to be like the first week of the month or whatever. If I do come up with something and I'm consistent with it, then you guys may notice, and I might mention it in a future video. But as of now, I don't have a specific day that I'm going to post every month. So make sure those post notifications are on so you know when that one video a month or more comes out. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!